Good morning. There are three topics that I'm going to cover this morning. Firstly, online safety, building on last month's assembly about your digital footprint. Secondly, our British values and cooperative values and the prevent duty. Thirdly, about equality, discrimination and abuse and how this trauma can have lasting effect. By the end of this assembly, I hope you will recognise that there is no form of abuse that is acceptable or okay. And that we should all follow the golden rule when we're dealing with other people. Treat others the way you want to be treated. Our identity comes from where we live, who we live with, our friends, our family, our society, the music we listen to, all these external influences on us. We are in a way part of a tribe, a cultural tribe. We need to belong as human beings. We have done so well and damaged so much by working together and having a unity. If you ask yourself the question, who am I? You'll realise that you're made up of lots of different areas. Your emotions, your thoughts, your actions and your deeds all contribute to your self-identity. You're made up of a patchwork of things that have happened, hopes and dreams. Culturally, we have our British values. So there's an expectation that we adhere to these things. Democracy, the rule of law, individual liberty, mutual respect, tolerance of those with different faiths and beliefs. This is linked as well to our own school cooperative values of self-help, self-responsibility, democracy, equality, equity and solidarity. These things are positive aspects of the culture and society we live in, and we try and make sure that we're consistent with how we treat each other. These yellow posters you'll see up around school, they are the prevent duty. It is a reminder, if you like, that we need to prevent extremist and radical views that in some way are not helpful to our British values and in fact our cooperative values. And so we need to have an open and free place for us to discuss things, even when we don't agree with what's being discussed, that it needs to take place. Just remember the golden rule. Treat others as you would like to be treated yourself. And this is one of the problems where we know how to behave, and when we're dealing with a person in front of us, we can behave accordingly most of the time. Where it comes undone is the way we behave online. Now, you all know you shouldn't send pictures of yourself to someone you don't know online. You all know about your digital footprint. You know how you should behave, and everything you do online can stay there for a very long time, covered fully in the last assembly. But still, people make mistakes. Still, people say things that they shouldn't, share things that they shouldn't. Whatever happened to Pewdiepie? He was the highest paid YouTuber. But in 2017 he made a big mistake. He posted a YouTube video which had the N-word in it, and later that month he was accused of being anti-Semitic, which means discriminating or being racist towards Jewish people. So he went from being the highest paid, most subscribed YouTuber in the world in 2017 to being someone some of you don't even know about now. Current example of someone who made a mistake many years ago, but it's come to light, is Ollie Robinson, who is likely to be dropped from the England cricket team for making racist and sexist tweets he made in 2012. It's certainly looking like it's over for Ollie now. Sorry. We're all pretty much children trying to navigate our way through digital platforms that we have at our disposal. Even the adults struggle at times, some more than the children actually. But as long as we apply the British values and our cooperative values to what we say and do online, then our digital footprint should be pretty safe for people to look at in the future. Horrific events can cause trauma. It's a matter of perspective, but ultimately when horrible things happen, they affect us. Now, if you were in the Twin Towers and that happened to you, you were involved in it, or you saw the scenes firsthand, or lost loved ones, then you may in fact be so traumatised that you suffer from something called PTSD, which is post-traumatic stress. To make sure that we're not constantly in a state of trauma, because trauma can cause an awful lot of illnesses, anything from autoimmune disease, chronic chronic fatigue syndrome. It's because it's a survival mechanism. It's our fight kicks in. But if it's constantly being fired, it will create emotional, long-lasting scars. An example of this is domestic abuse. It's recently been found that in a study in Scotland, 4 out of 5 of the female inmates in prison had suffered head traumas at some point. Now, this is pointing towards the fact that domestic violence will cause people to be caught in a cycle of violence. So if someone is growing up in an abusive household, then they will probably normalise that in some way. Abuse is not okay, not on any level. Abuse comes in different forms: physical abuse, emotional abuse, mental abuse, sexual abuse. All of this abuse can, depending on the event or the prolonged action of the abuse, can actually cause PTSD. The problem is, when someone is in this state of trauma, new events are distorted by the past experience. There are laws in place to help protect people against discrimination. There are protected characteristics such as age, disability, gender, marriage, pregnancy, race, religion, belief, sexual orientation. But it doesn't stop people from behaving in a negative way. Antisocial behaviours damage the rich tapestry of our society. It damages our tribe. Sexual discrimination has been in the news a lot recently, following the murder of Sarah Everard. 97% of women between the age of 16 and 24 have received sexual harassment of some kind. 20% of women have experienced sexual assault since the age of 16. 1 in 20, it is suspected, according to the NSPCC, 1 in 20 of girls between the ages of 11 to 17 have been sexually assaulted. We need to have open dialogue about this. People need to be able to talk openly about these problems if they experience it. The vast majority of boys and girls that are abused by someone they know. We need to challenge the misconception. A very small percentage of sexually abused children grow up to actually sexually abuse themselves, but they're massively more likely to suffer from depression, mental and physiological issues, criminal activities, drug abuse, and become sexually abused themselves, and be caught in a cycle of abuse. And ultimately, they're caught in a cycle of trauma. Sexual discrimination and sexual harassment is illegal, but it's still happening and it's still a problem in our culture. One of the reasons it's still a problem is the way women in particular are portrayed in film, in movie, in magazines, but also in pornography. Pornography offers a very distorted view of sex. It normalises the abnormal. Abuse is not okay. If you're getting abuse on any level, physical, emotional, mental, sexual, you need to talk to someone about it. You can find advice and telephone numbers on the school website. So if you go to htcdevon.sch.uk, you can then go to the wellbeing part of the school website, highlighted here, and there's lots of people you can speak to about it. You must not suffer in silence. Equally, if you are being abusive to people, physically, emotionally, mentally, you might think you're being funny, it might be a bit of bants, but actually you're hurting and it's illegal. You cannot harass people. So be careful how you treat people. Remember the golden rule. The golden rule has been around for hundreds, thousands of years. It's within all of the major religions and many religions you've never heard of. It roughly translates like this: don't do things to other people that you don't want to have done to yourself. It's a really simple rule to live your life by, and I guarantee if you do that, you will have a good life and so will everyone around you.